Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Aisha, otherwise known as Miss Champagne. Welcome to my channel, Growing by Faith. If you're new here, I am in Zone 10A, which is Central Florida. I'm a backyard gardener on a little less than an acre, and we have had probably 9 days of rain after about 2 months of a drought. So I'm just going to show you guys what's been going on. I wasn't able to really get out here like I wanted to because of the rain, but I did sneak in some seeds here and there and a few harvests. So let's show you guys what's going. Here on my patio, I've got some things that are hardening off. This was a sweet Marconi pepper that I was growing inside. So I'm going to leave it out here on the patio for a few days just to let it get acclimated because it was indoors. And then I've got poho berry, which is like a Hawaiian ground cherry. I've got some yellowing of the leaves only because a lot of the rain filled this tray and I didn't realize it. So they were sitting in water for quite some time. We've got some sugarloaf pineapples, and then I've got a Big Jim loquat seedling also hardening off. I wish I had a chance to get my trees in the ground. It would have been a perfect opportunity to let the rain really get them established, but I did not know that it was going to rain for as long as it did. But I've got my mountain soursop putting on some new growth, which is always a good sign. I've got some ginger popping up. We've got turmeric popping up there. None of my sugar cane has come up yet. This is Songs of India. It's a plant that's on the side of my house that I was trying to propagate. And then we have my Valencia Pride mango here. And then I've got a longan that a neighbor gave me. That's a seedling. And then I have the Choquette avocado, which has put on a lot of new growth since I brought it home. So we're going to be getting this in the ground soon. And I've got, my seedlings here that I'm trying to wait till they get a little more established. They've been struggling. This one I want to say is a lychee, and then this one's a longan. This is my pineapple guava. This is another cutting. And then I have some bridal bouquet cuttings here. They are actually doing well. And then this is a Florida Special pineapple. This is just to show you how much rain we've gotten. The wheelbarrow is full. So I'm not really going to do a food forest tour. That'll be later this month. But just a garden update. So I've pulled a lot of stuff here in the main garden. Still trying to do cleanup. I've got fence people coming this Friday. So I have to clean up this fence line here. Cut back my bougainvillea. Hopefully try to do some cuttings. That's going to be an experiment. I planted some more okra seedlings in here. This is a crimson sweet watermelon. I pulled up the kale that was here. My midnight snack is still hanging in there. Starting to get a little bit of blight. And then we've also had some splitting, which is common when you have a lot of rain over a short period of time. I also planted some more crimson spineless okra there. My collards are still hanging in there. And then these are some transplants. I waited really late to transplant. Okra prefers to be direct sold, but I had other stuff going on in the garden, so I put them in seed trays. and then kind of waited too long to get them in here. So they have a little bit of transplant shock. They could be stunted, but okra we can grow all summer long. So I'll just succession sow once these pop up, and then I'll just plant 2 more here. These get pretty massive. And then I've got another collard there. We have my dune flower popping through the fence, so I'll be trimming that back. Thyme is doing well. It loves this time of year, so it is sprawling all over this bed. We've got nematodes in here, so I'm not going to be planting my tomatoes. I'll probably have to do them in buckets or something, because I've got nematodes in this bed and nematodes in that bed. And they love your nightshades. They're not really bothering the pepper, at least not that I can see. It's been doing okay. Can probably use a little nitrogen. We've got some marigolds popping up as well. I did plant some sunflower seeds along the edges, and I also planted some pink-eye purple hull, which is like a southern pea. I planted those. Oh no, let's get these weeds. And I've got a lot of cranberry hibiscus that I need to pull up. I don't want it growing in my bed. Came out yesterday and harvested these bush beans. I think these were the contender variety. Pretty much using them as a cover crop, but they produced nicely. We are supposed to be in the 90s like the entire rest of the week, so they'll probably start to die out, which is fine. I got about half a gallon size bag, and I'm just gonna chop and just lay these down. I've got marigolds growing kind of in between, and I'm just going to sprinkle a whole bunch of marigolds. They're supposed to help deter root knot nematodes, so hopefully that works. Some of the onions are almost ready. They're starting to bend over at the neck, but not quite flopping all the way over, so we're going to give that some more time. Collards are doing great. I'll probably get maybe 1 more harvest. More marigolds surrounding my bell pepper back here. We do have a few growing. And then I have a ton of calendula volunteers. And this was a scarlet runner bean that I planted over the fall. I thought it was dying back, but it started putting on a whole bunch of new green growth, so I don't know. Over here, I planted more crimson spineless okra, and I planted some over here as well. And then that's another crimson sweet watermelon that I'm gonna let also sprawl out over this bed. This is another sweet bell pepper, and I've got one on there. I'm keeping it covered because I've got rodents that like to snack on my peppers. All right, let's take you to the chicken garden. The grass looks so green right now with all the rain, but the weeds are also exploding. I do feel like I may have lost my potatoes with all of this heavy rain. They're suffering from a lot of blight. They're turning yellow. I don't know if the cardboard was able to drain fast enough. The bags may be okay, but we'll see. I planted some red Tennessee peanuts, and I have a chicken wire over them just to keep the squirrels from digging it up as soon as I plant it. I harvested all of my popcorn because I knew the rain was coming, so I came out here early that morning and quickly harvested because it looked like it was starting to get like mold or mildew. So I'll be cutting these off pretty soon. I saw the bush beans trying to put on a new flush. I meant not the bush ones, the pole beans. Trying to put on new flush, so I left them so that they can still vine. Seminole pumpkin loved all of the rain. It has exploded in growth. Still looking for female flowers. And then I've got some lemon bee balm in here hiding. We've got some longevity spinach in here hiding. I had some Egyptian spinach in here somewhere, but no females. Look at this pumpkin. They're still looking. But yeah, it's trying to put on like another flush of green beans, so I left them. I am removing the Tromboncino squash. I have lots of radishes going to seed in here. And look at all those pumpkin vines. When they say Seminole pumpkin spreads, this is what they mean. There's 2 plants in here. There's one planted over here in this corner. And then there's one planted down there in that corner. And they have quickly merged. I was trying to keep them out of the pathway. So I'll have to come in and kind of slide them to the side just so I can make it all the way to the back and be able to get in here. But I've already cut the Tromboncino at the root, so it'll start to maybe die back. I feel like it's taking a long time. So unless it's set down root somewhere else. Seminole pumpkin sprawling all this way. Sunflowers got really heavy with all the rain, so I'm going to come in and snip the heads off. Sometimes it'll still produce little side flowers. Sweet potatoes have taken over this raised bed that I was trying to slowly develop and add compost to over time, so it'll be ready for the fall. Looks like it's volunteered itself to grow more sweet potatoes, so we shall see. All right, and this is my U bed. I've got some Kajari melons in here. I do have them bagged so I can attempt to keep the pests off of it, from the cucumber beetles to the squash bugs and then rodents. So it is kind of, just looking at my jalapeno, looked like it was squished. Looking really good. And then I've got some Puerto Rican black beans in here. Slow growers, but they'll grow all summer. We've got little ones. I tried to cover them before the squash beetle or the cucumber beetle would lay an egg, and then they would puncture the actual fruit. So like this one is doing well. I've got another small one over here. So no powdery mildew. This plant is hanging in there. It seems to be thriving with the shade cloth that is over it. Tomato is gone. I put some more compost in here and planted these Sugar Rush peach peppers. These are hot. They're on the side with all of my hot peppers. We've got the jalapeno here. I've got a dwarf Thai chili plant from seed going on 1 year. And then I have Scotch bonnets. We've got peppers coming on there. I did accidentally snap off one of the limbs when I was trying to put this little cage on it. So make sure you put your tomato cages on early so that you don't damage your plant. And then back there I have a serrano pepper, and then these are the Sugar Rush peach. So these I started outside in trays and then waited till they got big enough to be able to handle it in here, because I do feel like it's some cutworms or something, because I'll get like a lot of, I don't know, is this a tomato? Probably. I had some type of squash. Look at all the mushrooms back here. That just goes to show you how much moisture is in this bed. Don't know what type they are, but I don't play around with mushrooms unless I can easily identify it. Then over here we've got the borage. I should have added compost to this bed, but I didn't. So I'm just going to do some amendments around it. And then another crimson sweet watermelon here. This is another Marconi. Harvested 2 off of here yesterday. So it's got another one in here. And then behind it, I want to say is the Cuban nail, or I can't remember. This is why you should label, because I have one here that I think may be a gypsy sweet bell pepper, or either that's the Cuban nail and then that's the gypsy sweet. Can't remember, but this one's starting to blush at the shoulders, which is nice. And then this one is my sweet banana pepper. So we've got some nice sized banana peppers on there. And then the other sweet Marconi is gonna go in that spot. And then those should be able to grow all summer. Pigeon peas, I'm just waiting to go to their final spot. This is a golden honey watermelon, which is a yellow variety. We've got our first watermelon down there, if you can see it. And then this is the Seminole pumpkin that has crept through the fence. Oh, it's gonna get excited. I thought we had one, but it looks like it wasn't pollinated and fell off. And then we still have our elderberry. This one's native to Florida, putting on its flowers, and we may get some berries this year. But just so you can see the Seminole pumpkin from this angle. Growing everywhere. So I need to get in here and find a way to get this sunflower from bending over. But that is it for today's update. It's hot and I'm starting to sweat. Took out this cucumber. It was done. I let it go to seed and it was starting to get powdery mildew. So I'll probably throw it in the back somewhere, let it compost in place back there. This will not go in my compost pile. But the trees are looking nice and healthy. Starting to grow back. This is my pink muhly grass, looking nice. So yeah. All right guys, I'm starting to sweat out here. So that's it for today. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you are growing this spring and summer season, especially if you live in my zone. Till next time, bye y'all.